Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chip Roasting
Welcome.
2021.
2021, you're right.
That's
Wow.
Brennan over there.
Wait,
And also not Brennan.
we've already done one this year, right? So this is not the first one of the year.
No, not the first one of the year. Just wanted to say Chip Roasting 2021.
Okay.
Because remember, it started out hashtag Chip Roasting 2015.
Yeah, we've been going on for 6 years now. This podcast is 6 years old. It definitely started in 2015. Don't look that up.
Well, it did start in 2015. Just no, we weren't recording it.
Yes.
And there were like 6 of us.
Yes, it was on a whole different like wavelength. It'd be like psychically attuned.
Yeah, I mean the government heard us.
Yeah.
Government and whatever aliens could hear us were monitoring us. They all heard the podcast. They enjoyed it, so we figured to bring it back in 2020 to ease the pain. But so far, not working.
Nope. Still so much pain. Oh well.
So we have some news to go over today, and then we're going to talk about WandaVision. So before we get to WandaVision, just massive spoiler alerts coming.
Mm-hmm.
I would say.
But I don't have anything spoiled for me yet. But I don't know what we're talking
That's true.
about, so we'll see.
That's true.
I know part of what we're talking about. Actually, I have some stuff to talk about too. So we will see what direction this all goes. This is going to be so organized.
And I want to say this is going to be a short podcast.
It will not be.
But we know how that goes.
Yeah,
We just have to be done by 8.
Yes.
Because I love hockey too much.
Sports ball, but not with a ball.
Sports disc.
Puck. Yeah. Sports disc, sure.
So let's get into the news. The first big news, obviously not obviously, because I just saw it yesterday. It just broke yesterday. Ethan Hawke, who was in The Purge, Sinister, and the movie called Tesla about Nikola Tesla, will be the villain in Moon Knight. This broke yesterday from pretty much every source you could think of.
Interesting. And who will play him? I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we all know that Mark Hamill is going to play Ethan Hawke, playing the villain.
Yeah.
In Moon Knight. So that's cool that we're getting another update. He will play opposite of Oscar Isaac as a villain who is yet to be named.
Yes, Oscar Isaac will be Moon Knight. Ethan Hawke, you say his name is Ethan Hawke. Mm-hmm. He will play Sun Soldier. Moon Knight versus Sun Soldier. Yes.
So that's the first bit of news. Again, I don't really like. I've seen Ethan Hawke's face before, but I could, like I said, he's in those 3 movies. I've never seen any of those movies. So
neither have I. I don't think I definitely haven't seen Tesla, and I forgot the other 2 movies you said. So I'm just
Sinister and The Purge.
No, yeah, I haven't seen any of those movies.
I'm not a big horror fan, so I've heard of those movies, but that's about it. But you would recognize him on sight. Trust me.
Okay.
Trust
me. I will take your word for
it. So the next bit of news, Brennan, do you want to do the news about Charlie Cox?
Spider-Man? Yeah, absolutely. I was so excited. I saw this on Facebook, I think, from like one of those like sources that aren't just making things up all the time.
What was that one that you said kept coming up?
Something got covered.
We've got it covered. Yeah, we've got it covered or something like that.
Yeah. We've got it covered. They still always pop up. Sometimes I just assume everything comes from them and then I ignore it. But this came from like comicbook.com or somebody like that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, apparently, Charlie Cox has wrapped filming, I believe, on the Spider-Man, on the Homecoming 3 set. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he was there. There's evidence of him being there, and apparently he's all done being there now. So he's in the movie? Question mark? Hope so.
Which to me indicates that he's not playing Daredevil, but he's playing Matt Murdock.
Which is so.
Either way, I mean, it opens up a lot.
Fine with that, yes.
Yeah, it opens up a lot because Daredevil's awesome. He's my favorite comic book character, especially after the show on Netflix. And if they're going to bring him back, of course, Charlie Cox had to be that person because he played him so well, as we've talked about many times in this. So hopefully those rumors are true. There's new news.
So. Yeah.
More news from the Spider-Man set. New photos were released.
Yes. takes
You see those
during Life Day is what I've heard.
Oh, interesting. I did not hear that. No, new photos resurfaced. But there's like a board.
Oh yeah.
In like on like a city street or whatever, and on it they had like a bunch of little posters and stuff. And one said, "Citizens to defend Spidey," and then the other said, "Team." The other one says, "I believe," under like a helmet of Mysterio, like a drawing of Mysterio's helmet.
Interesting.
More or less picking the people in the Marvel universe picking Team Spidey or Team Mysterio.
Okay, I had not heard this one. I thought you were talking about the fact that it's set during Christmas time, according to other photos that were
I didn't see that
released. So cool. We each have our own little pieces of news.
Exactly.
We learn, the audience learns.
Exactly. In case, or they're relearning, or they're just like, when are these guys going to talk about WandaVision? But apparently that hints at a run in the 2002 to 2007 of The Amazing Spider-Man, written by J. Michael Straczynski. Apparently that hints at that, so maybe we'll be able to investigate some comic books and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah. And then another piece of news from Marvel is that Chris Evans, you see that news, is in talks with Marvel to return as Captain America, to everyone's confusion.
Yeah, I saw news about that. Then I also saw like it was like the same day that I saw the news, whatever, on like articles on Facebook, whatever. I was scrolling through Twitter. There's a tweet from like Chris Evans or whatever. I don't remember exactly what it said, but he was like, "I have no idea what you guys are talking about."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. I mean,
so I have no idea if it's trying to be kept secret right now, or if like literally someone just made this up. And now it's just everywhere.
Well, the girl who played is going to play She-Hulk, she said, "Yeah, that's not true too." So maybe it's just Chris Evans hiding something, or maybe Chris Evans is really like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that. I just got done playing him. Why would I come back?" Which the only way I could see him coming back with like alternate universe Captain America, or like him popping up in something here or there. But I don't expect him to come back. It did say in like kind of like how Iron Man was in Spider-Man 1. Which was Homecoming.
Yes.
And just kind of like that, he's there, hello, Captain America kind of role. So there's that. That's all the Marvel news. There's no Star Wars news that I saw. Did you see anything?
I don't believe so.
Okay, cool.
It's been it's been like 2 weeks, so it's possible I just saw something and then like forgot about it. But
that's fair.
Probably not. So something for the podcast. We've talked about what's his name. What's that guy's name?
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yes, We've talked about him before. I just want to say on record for the podcast, I just saw a picture of him like a couple days ago. I had no idea he was blue. He's just blue. I thought it was like a dude, like all of those other people. Nope, he's just blue. So.
He's blue. Yeah, he's part of the Chiss.
Yes.
That's a species. I believe. I don't remember what the planet was called. At some point when this whole thing passes a little bit more, if you want to borrow, because I'm gonna get all the Thrawn books at some point. If you want to borrow the first one, I will gladly let you. And then if you want to keep reading from there,
I'm gonna take every book you have.
Every book I have. At least leave me the one I'm reading.
Okay. I'll leave you that one.
Just that one. I mean. But anyway, and then so that's it from there. The Brennan just found out Grand Admiral Thrawn is blue.
Yep. So that's Star Wars news.
That's the Star Wars news specific to this podcast.
Yes.
And then
something else. Oh yes.
No. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna talk about something in DC.
That's where I was going to go.
You were also going to go to DC. Perfect.
Yeah.
This is almost like this is planned out.
It seems that way, but trust me, it never is. I think people could figure that out by the fact that we went on giant tangents when we were talking about, was it Soul?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I think we spent more time talking about tangents like that we got onto from Soul than talking about Soul itself.
Probably. But here's another tangent as we continue on down this road. Zack Snyder's Justice League. He came out, he didn't come out and straight up say it, but he pretty much said that instead of it being a 4-part miniseries like it had been speculated to be, Justice League is just going to be a 4-hour movie, not 7-hour movie. Well, it'll feel like that, but
I'm very. I won't use the word excited, but I'm very interested to see what the Snyder Cut of Justice League ends up being.
I haven't even seen the first cut of that, the Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet. I will probably watch that at some point before Zack Snyder's cut come out. I feel like the hype around it's too big. My hopes are low for this movie.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's like I don't. Yeah, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of people very excited. Like, oh, it's going to change. It's going to save like the DC cinematic movie extended universe thing.
That is the official name of it, the DCCMEU.
And I don't know if I would go that far, just putting that in one movie. I mean, like the DCEMUC, whatever y'all said, has a lot of issues with it. I don't think can be fixed with one movie. No. But I'm hoping it will be at least a good watch.
It'll be a long watch.
Yes,
that's for sure. 4 hours. That's a long movie. Mm-hmm. Apparently, that's the second longest behind in the DCEU behind Watchmen.
Oh,
which is like the extended cut was like 3 hours 35 minutes.
Interesting.
So let's see. There is a film that's 7 hours and 20 minutes long. So never. I was gonna say it's gotta be like one of the longest movies ever, but it's not.
What film is 7 hours long?
I did not look. I just saw the time. So cool. Sorry. I might look that up later. Maybe that's a topic for another day. But I'm gonna have to set aside a large portion. Of time to watch that movie. Apparently, it's also rated R. So that's
something too. I remember. So I have no idea what this movie will be like, but I am interested to see it. I will be watching it at some point, probably not immediately, right when it comes out, because I don't know if like I want to just put 4 hours aside immediately, but probably
definitely have to prepare yourself.
Shortly.
For a movie like that.
Yeah, after it comes out.
Yeah.
I in some DC news, I've watched Suicide Squad now for the first time.
Well, let's get into that. What do you think?
Yeah, the original, because they're like remaking / making a sequel to it.
Yes, the Suicide Squad.
Yes. Like apparently it's not confirmed how it fits into the DC letters.
It's a DCEU officially.
The DCEU, it is that DC extended.
Yes. Universe? The one that none of the shows fit into.
Cool. Even though they technically kind of do fit into now, because in like the Flash TV series, there's a cameo by the Flash from the movies. So like in like a
multiverse,
the multiverse thing. So apparently they are all connected, I guess. We'll see how long.
That's just an excuse at this point. Oh no, they're connected. Multiverse. Well, that's lazy. But okay. Anyway, Suicide
I saw it. I was actually surprised. It was better than I thought. And I know that like if anyone's like, if we have any angry fans listening to this, they'll be like, oh, you're saying that Wonder Woman was bad and Suicide Squad is good. No, I'm saying that I had high expectations to Wonder Woman. They were not met. I had low expectations to Suicide Squad. They were exceeded. So Wonder Woman is still 1984 is still so clearly better than Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But Suicide Squad was, there were some good parts. I loved.
Yeah.
I loved Will Smith playing Deadshot. I thought it was a cool character. It's not necessarily just Will Smith. Maybe it's just like the character of Deadshot, because in like the Arrowverse, the actor who played Deadshot was fantastic there too. It's just the character, but I liked seeing Will Smith's Deadshot on screen. Mm-hmm. I also very much enjoyed the performance of like Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie. Mm-hmm. I can definitely see why, like, because she's been in that and Birds of Prey now. She's supposed to be in the next Suicide Squad movie.
Still need to watch.
Yeah. Birds of Prey, I thought. I didn't think it was all that good, perhaps because I had higher expectations for it. The plot seemed contrived in that one, but no more contrived than it was in Suicide Squad. So, but yeah, it was. What else did I like in that movie? I thought it was cool to kind of get to see some like lesser known characters.
Mm-hmm.
Although when they went and gave an introduction to all of them except for one dude, they just didn't introduce one dude. I was like, he's going to die first. There's no way. And like, sure enough, 5 minutes later, the character they didn't introduce dies, and I'm like, haha, surprise, surprise.
Yeah. I think all the actors did really well with what they had for the movie.
The dude who was on fire, I don't remember what his name was. I loved his character.
Was it Diablo?
Yeah.
I want to say it was Diablo.
I'm pretty sure. But I don't remember what the characters the human's name was. But yeah.
Killer Croc was one of them.
Yes, that was weird. He had like 4 lines the entire.
Yeah, he was just kind of there. I hated
underutilized.
I hated Captain Boomerang. That's right.
Yeah,
it was stupid. Viola Davis did really good as Amanda Walker. I thought she was good.
Yeah. She definitely portrayed Amanda Walker in like a way where I was like, I hate Amanda Walker, which is like, you know, how you're supposed to feel about Amanda Walker, because Amanda Walker is not a good person. Like, no, because Amanda Walker is a character in like the Arrowverse too, and they make her like kind of likable and sympathetic, and it's like, no, she's horrible.
Right. Cara Delevingne, I think, did a really good job despite the character not being all that great.
Who was that?
She was Enchantress.
Ooh, yeah. I thought she did a good job too. I liked seeing Enchantress on screen, even if it was like a strange story with Enchantress. Mm-hmm. But it was cool.
The subplot with Jared Leto as Joker was stupid. That was unnecessary and dumb. I did not like it.
I very much liked the first, you're right. I didn't like that part either. I thought they kind of like crammed his character in there in like a weird way.
But like they advertised him so heavily.
Yeah, they advertised him heavily. But like I was glad because based on the trailers and based on what I've heard, I thought he had like a larger role. He was only in like 4 scenes or whatever. So I was like, all right, like, you know, I don't really mind him as much, but only because he didn't have as much screen time as I thought. But I loved. One thing that I absolutely loved is like I didn't know that the Suicide Squad fit into the like DCEU at first. I thought it was like a solo movie done at the same time. Mm-hmm. But you know, it was obviously like Superman was dead there, so I was like, you know, maybe it is during the same time. But I absolutely loved the post-credit scene for that movie. It's my favorite post-credit scene. Not that DC has a lot of stuff with post-credit scenes. Right. Or whatever, they're trying to get more into it now, I think. But
they're just trying to rip up Marvel at this point, I think.
But I absolutely loved it because it was Amanda Waller and Bruce Wayne. And Bruce Wayne
I think I remember
went to Amanda Waller to be like, hey, I need some information. I can give you protection. Mm-hmm. And Amanda Waller was like, why would I need protection from like you or whatever? And he's like, just give me the information. Do you want my protection or not? So she did, and that's where he got the file on Aquaman. Mm-hmm. So because you know I just seen whatever like Superman 2 and then
with Batman versus Superman.
Yeah. Batman versus Superman, and then straight to Justice League. So I didn't know how he found out about Aquaman or anything like that. So it was cool to kind of get that tie-in, and then like, you know, he's like leaving, and then Amanda Waller is like, hey, you should stop working nights, as like a nod to the fact that she knows he is in fact like Batman. And then he says, so it's like, and like, you need to shut down your like task force, or else me and my friends are going to shut it down for you. And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah. See, if they'd work more of that kind of thing, those kind of interactions into the DCEU, it would be better instead of just trying to blatantly rip off Marvel.
Absolutely.
Them not going near, them pretending Marvel doesn't exist, like the MCU, would make the EU so much better. Yeah,
absolutely. Because there was just so much. It was like, there's a video that I absolutely love. It's like a short skit by this YouTuber, Jenny Nicholson, mm-hmm. and it's like she plays the character of Amanda Waller trying to pitch the Suicide Squad to like, mm-hmm. the people trying to approve it, and she's able to point out all of the many flaws in the movie with a little short pitch, and it's so fantastic because it's like, oh, if the whole point is they're expendable, then why are they being sent in with soldiers, right? You know, because then and then it's like, you know, why are they trying to like, you know, it's like the things don't work, they can escape, whatever. So it's like that. The movie made me appreciate that. Seeing the movie made me appreciate that skit more, and then seeing the skit made me like be able to enjoy some nonsensical parts of the movie because I got humor out of seeing it unfold on screen. But yeah, that story was just so weird.
Amanda Waller is probably one of the better characters in DCEU so far.
Yeah, she's very and she's very underutilized, I think, in a lot of like DC adaptations. Mm-hmm. So it definitely is good to see her more. I'm excited for Suicide Squad 2 / The Suicide Squad, whether it ends up being a sequel or a remake. Mm-hmm. I was looking at the cast of characters, and like if it was anyone other than James Gunn, I'd be super concerned. Knowing that James Gunn has picked out some of these obscure characters, like like the Rat Catcher and Weasel, and like
I can't remember the shark's guy's name. Yeah, King Shark.
Yeah, King Shark. It's going to be very, very interesting, and I really hope he's able to kind of keep his same Guardians of the Galaxy type vibe with Suicide Squad, because if not, all these characters, Polka Dot Man, that's what I was thinking of. Polka Dot Man. It's like, how is this?
Right.
I
think that has a real.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're not gonna have Will Smith's headshot. So sad. We're not gonna have that fire guy.
Right.
But I still do have high hopes. I wish we could get like an actual trailer for it, so I could kind of get a feel for more of the vibe. But trailers don't always deliver anyway.
Right. I've seen a couple like videos from set. From like the advertisements for like the DC fandom or whatever it was called. I think the 2021 can make or break the DCEU with the Batman, with the Suicide Squad, the Snyder Cut, and if all these movies are as good as they're anticipated to be, because even the Batman looks good. I mean, I have a lot of concerns about Robert Pattinson playing the Batman, but after seeing the trailer, I was like, okay, maybe that could work. I think those 3 movies can make or break the DCEU. So we'll have to see what's coming. But I'm hopeful, especially with James Gunn at the helm, because he did a really great job with both Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So we'll see.
Yeah, and because the DCEU is so confusing right now. In my opinion, the best route would just be to stop it for right now. Do individual films, and in a couple of years try to pick it back up. I don't think that they're going to just bring it to a close here, but maybe if these movies are all very solid films, then it could save the DCEU.
What they should do, like you said, is just kind of finish up the storylines they have going right now, and then shut it down for, I don't know, like a year or 2, and then maybe pick something back up, like start canceling things out of previous canon. So they're not going to do that. Hopefully, they might do that. They might cancel things out of previous canon. So we'll see. I mean, they're going to have to with 2 Batmans. But I think they've already started working on a multiverse thing there. So
yeah, that'll be very, very interesting. If we can get an actual like DC multiverse on screen done well, that would be able to solve a lot of potential issues.
Right.
But also, if they do it poorly, it'll cause a million more issues. So.
Yeah, it'll be harder to kind of seal it up. Again, like I said earlier, they just have to block Marvel out of their mind. Like, I know they're trying to technically, they are competing with them, but if they can pretend like they're not there, I think they'll do
so much better.
Right. Especially if they went with like a darker tones and stuff like that, which is what it seemed like the Batman was going to be. If they delve into stuff, like I know there's this new line of comics called The Batman Who Laughed, which looks really, really cool, but it's like really creepy, really dark. I think it's like Batman decides to kill the Joker, and then while he's killing him, he gets some of the Joker serum or whatever in him, and then he goes crazy. It's really, really cool. I'll have to send you a link to it.
It's just they have to find the line they want to walk, and not just try to walk a line because another major studio is walking that line.
Right.
It's like Marvel's been doing great They've made some like mistakes in the past, but they seem to be learning from them. I think, yeah. And if like DC tries to replicate what someone else is doing instead of trying to learn for themselves what works and what doesn't work, they're not going to know how to face those mistakes head on.
Right.
Because even things with like Avengers Endgame and then Spider-Man Far From Home, they keep like, one thing I hope that Marvel steps away from is these like huge like world-ending battles and everything. It's like make the fights a little more smaller scale. I enjoy Marvel films a lot more when the battles are more small scale. And that's with like WandaVision, for example. One thing I absolutely love is like things are very small scale for right now.
Yeah. This is actually going to get to being a big world, world, possibly world scale thing. Which that's, I think, a good thing that they're starting to build up to that, where we can already see in the DCEU where like, oh, there's multiverse. It's like, you're not ready for that. Marvel's not even ready for that yet.
Yeah. No.
Like, so we'll see.
They're getting there. They're building. They're getting there.
It, but yeah. So I have high hopes for the DCEU. But let's switch over to the MCU.
Sure.
And again, might as well throw it out there while we're right before we talk about it. Big spoiler alert for the WandaVision first 2 episodes.
Big spoiler.
If you don't want them ruined, I would click off now, go watch them, and come back. We still want your views and your listens.
Oh yeah, it was one thing I will say for WandaVision is it's like a little bit odd. I was excited about the idea of the show and everything, and then seeing most of the trailers. There's only one trailer that got me excited. All of the rest, I was kind of like, I don't know why these trailers just aren't making me excited, aren't engaging with me for some reason. I watched WandaVision. It was fantastic. I loved almost every minute of that. After I watched it,
go ahead.
Just after I watched it, I came back and I was going through social media and trailers were popping up. I still don't like the trailers. Like, I know how good WandaVision is. I just watched trailers. I'm like, this doesn't make me want to watch WandaVision. If I didn't know how good it was, I wouldn't be drawn to watch it. So I don't know if there's something that the trailers just wanted to say that first. It's like I don't know if the trailers indicate a direction that the series is going to go that I'm just not going to like. But right now, I really do like WandaVision. The trailers just aren't working for me for some reason.
So you know how there's weed out classes in college?
Yeah.
These 2 first episodes were weed out episodes. Because if people aren't, because I've looked online and I've seen people, it's mostly Facebook, because you know how people on Facebook are.
Yeah.
Some people on Twitter, they're just like, they don't like it. They're like, I can't get into it. I was a minute in, I get clicked off. I can't do it. Stuff like that. So this is weeding out people.
Interesting.
Weeding out, I'm not going to say real Marvel fans, because that's gatekeeping, but like casual fans who kind of don't really understand what's going on, like going into it, like people who who only watch the movies, but don't really care about the comics. Because I mean, you can like know about the comics and different events and stuff like that have happened in the comics, but not actively read the comics. Which, I mean, I'm kind of there. I've read some comics, but like, I at least follow enough people that know the comics to where I could be kind of caught up in there. But I definitely think this is weeding out some people in the first 3 episodes. If you haven't watched it yet and you're still listening to this point, and you have started watching it and you just didn't care for it, give it another episode and then go through all 3. Because I think in the next episode we're going to start picking up.
Of 3?
No, for Friday. Okay. So this upcoming Friday, if you didn't like getting into it, wait till this episode and try again.
Okay.
So I've watched it 3 times.
Yeah. I've actually watched it twice, and like I have seen on Facebook, I have seen some people like not taking to WandaVision, not liking it as much, just because like I'm in some like meme groups and stuff, and someone will make like a WandaVision themed meme, and some people in the comments will be like, "Oh, I didn't like the show" or whatever. And it's like, but an interesting thing for me is like I've seen some kind of like hardcore like Marvel fans or MCU fans just saying that like they don't like WandaVision. That's and a lot of casual fans saying that like they do like WandaVision. So I don't think that maybe line is quite as as clear as that. And for me, it's like I don't like the direction that like the MCU has gone recently. Like I mean, like I very much still like all the movies. Like absolutely loved Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home, but like just like thinking about them, the parts I liked about them the most were like the smaller scale things, the like end large scale giant battles. It just feels, I don't know, it feels like they're trying to do too much all at once, and it either like lands or it doesn't land, or it feels kind of off or whatever. So one thing that I really like about WandaVision right now is that so far it's small scale, and it's not trying to like immediately link to the big scale things. But one of my fears about it is that at like the very end, all of a sudden it'll become like super huge scale, like a universe altering thing, which I don't think it really has to be. And I'm hoping that they don't like feel they have to steer the series in that direction.
Right.
Which I mean, I guess we'll see, because everything's already filmed and edited and just yet to be released.
Yeah. But and I mean, what we know so far is that it's a lead into the multiverse of madness. So obviously, it's going to lead us somewhere.
Yes,
to a relatively big scale. I mean, because multiverse isn't exactly small.
Yeah, I know, and like so I kind of feel bad holding on this little hope that like it won't go overboard, because like I know it is leading up to something big, but there is a way to do that and still have it be small scale. I just because I guess what I'm trying to go with this is like I hope they don't get to the very end, the very last episode, they have to like save the world because there's some like madman trying to like destroy all of reality or something like that. Because it's like in Spider-Man Far From Home, it started off great. The whole plot was like Spider-Man against Mysterio, because Mysterio wanted like to be like Tony Stark. But in the end, the direction it went was like, oh, he's going to like destroy the world now to like save it or whatever. It's like it didn't have to go there.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that WandaVision it doesn't go there either. I'm hoping that it kind of just stays this important, this urgent story, but that stays kind of small scale. It doesn't have to necessarily impact like the whole world. Just like introduce the multiverse and leave it to like a different movie to really dive into all of that.
Something kind of like Ant-Man 2, right?
Yes.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, where you had, like, in that time you had to figure out how to get the what's her name? Janet Van Dyne from the I can't think of the name of it.
The Quantum Realm.
The Quantum Realm. But also having the Ghost as the kind of villain character.
Exactly.
It was all kind of self-contained, and then the very end it kind of led itself into Avengers Endgame.
Exactly. It's movies like that I absolutely love. It's like some of my favorite MC movies that like I'll just go and rewatch. So I think have the best rewatch value, or like Spider-Man Homecoming, like Ant-Man 2, just ones like that where it's like, there's an interesting battle, interesting story. There's still like the fight scenes and stuff, but it's all kind of small and self-contained, where it's not like every single movie is just like, oh, the world is gonna end. Like Doctor Strange, I love, but it's like, why do you have to have it loop into like, oh, the world is going to end, there's like a mirror dimension and whatever, and it's gonna Dormammu. Like it's still a good movie. I still like watching it, but just going back and rewatching it, it's like the stakes just get way too high way too quickly for my taste. And some people do like seeing like the world ending stuff every movie. I just like was like kind of a step back from that, just a break, especially because one of the recent movies we had was like Avengers Endgame, which is like the ultimate like world ending movie. It's like we don't have to keep going back to that now. Right.
Well, and it's interesting because I think Captain Marvel did a little bit of that, where it's like it was somewhat self-contained. I'm trying to remember Captain Marvel. It's been a while since I've watched it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to that too. Yeah, I don't think there's anything necessarily world-ending in that movie.
I don't think so either. Like you can say stuff for kind of like the Avengers movies and stuff like that, or obviously.
Oh yeah, it was because at the end it was like the Krees were trying to come and kill all of the Skrulls.
Yeah. Well, they kind of delve, but that's not really world ending. I guess it is for those worlds, but
but it's not like about Earth. It's right. It doesn't have the like vibe of like, oh, Earth is going to explode.
Right, but they like kind of dabbled on that a little bit at the beginning of the movie, where like they were in the Kree Skrull War already.
Yes.
Whereas, okay, and then it was all kind of self-contained. Iron Man, the first. That's a bad example. Iron Man.
No, I mean, like the first Iron Man one was, I think, pretty self-contained because it was like Iron Man versus Iron
Monger.
Yeah. Iron Monger, and it was just kind of like their battle. And I don't think he was trying to end the world. He was just trying to like kind of steal Tony's tech and stop Tony Stark from like dialing it back, which is, super great. Iron Man 2 had that same kind of vibe, I think.
Iron Man 2 was just its own thing.
Yeah, Iron Man 2 was very strange, but I think it had the same kind of overall vibe, and just it's like recently, but I'm hoping, because with like movies like well, Black Widow, I'm not sure about, because they could easily turn that into like a huge world-ending thing. I'm hoping that they don't. I'm hoping it kind of stays like Black Widow versus Taskmaster, whoever.
Yeah.
And then for Shang-Chi, very excited about that, because I think that'll stay small scale as well.
There's no possible way for it to not, but it's Marvel. They could find a way to make it that way.
Because you do have like the 10 rings in that one, like the Mandarin and the 10 rings, so that could easily be like, oh, Mandarin wants to destroy the world, but I'm very much hoping those stay small scale. I'm hoping that WandaVision as a whole stays on that smaller scale side of things.
Yeah.
Well, let's actually talk about it now. I suppose let's dive into what happened.
There's one of our tangents again.
Yeah.
But so basically, it starts out. I liked how they did it. They kind of did what Community does, and they did like an homage to these old shows. Like the first one was the Dick Van Dyke Show. The second one was Bewitched.
Yes.
But the first one was Dick Van Dyke Show.
And I loved the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Oh yeah.
As a kid, I would like watch just like the reruns or whatever, when like streaming became a huge thing. I would like stream some of the old episodes.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what you were saying. It's like what so many shows do when they want to kind of like be like a parody of something or whatever, is like they'll have the story and they'll have the homage inside of the story. What Community would always do, and what WandaVision is doing so far, is putting the story inside of the homage, which is so much like better to me to watch, especially when you're trying to amp up those like trippy kind of like elements. Even in the theme song of like WandaVision or whatever, it was such a perfect homage to the Dick Van Dyke Show theme song. Because if you've ever seen the Dick Van Dyke Show or whatever, one of my favorite bits of it is when he like walks inside and he trips over the like footstool type thing. I don't know what it's called. I have a friend who's like I have a friend who's like an interior designer. The ottoman. I was about to say, if like I get this wrong, if she listens to this, she'll be like, it's called this. But yeah, the ottoman. He always trips over the ottoman when he walks in to like the house, like the theme song or whatever. When like Vision walked in, he just phased through the ottoman. I thought that was so clever.
Right.
So clever, and that's I just love those little nods to like old shows.
My mom picked that out too because she used to watch the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she watched reruns too. She's not that old, but she remembers watching that and stuff like that. One of my favorite parts of the first episode, and I tweeted this out, and you liked it, was Vision questioning what the company he works with does. Yeah, that was so funny. And I think, and my mom was like, "Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, all those shows, they never said once what they did."
Exactly. That's one of these, because that's why I love the like homages so much, because you can do so much more than by making it parody or like putting like homages inside of story. By making the story inside of the homage, you can have so much more fun with all that stuff.
Yeah, that was fun. That was funny. I like that. It was like, so what do we do here again? What do we make anything? No. Do we buy or sell anything? No, we don't.
So him talking to his coworker, and then his boss in like the evening, he was like computational forms, and it's like, what does that mean? Like, what do we do though?
It's like, what does that mean? It's like, what are you, dense? He's like,
yeah. Oh man.
That was great. We were introduced to the neighbor. So a lot of people are thinking are Agatha. I can't remember her name.
I don't remember
from the comics, but
yeah, and like, don't go too much into that. Just for my sake, because I haven't seen a whole lot about that yet. I know she's like an important character. She's gonna have some role later on, from what I've seen, based on like her prominence. But like I've tried to avoid like who she is, who people think she is, to kind of get a more organic.
So you can kind of watch it and find out for yourself. Gotcha. One
of my other favorite things about that episode though was like the way it was shot with the camera. It was the same camera angle from the Dick Van Dyke Show, just like the one camera following everyone around. Just it's like we're seeing it from the fourth wall. Yeah, and say that way the entire way through the series, except for the one scene at the dinner table where Mr. Hart starts choking. All of a sudden the camera angle changes completely and zooming up on all their faces, and it's like a modern cinematic camera angle.
They did that in the second episode too, where they walked out to outside to see what the noise was. But I don't know if you picked up on this, and I saw this.
So trippy, but yeah.
I saw this on online, and it was the very first scene that said, "My husband with his indestructible head." That was a callback to when Vision got his head destroyed twice. That's kind of like a funny callback.
Oh, interesting.
To where Thanos ripped the thing out of his head and destroyed his head, so it was like an indestructible head. And then he said, "My wife and her flying plates" was a callback from when they were in Wakanda, and she grabbed those giant.
I remember that scene
and threw them away.
Wow.
People picked that out. Literally, things I would have never even thought of. People were just like, "Oh, that's a callback to this and that."
I didn't think of that either. Yeah. Most of my focus and references there was references back to the Dick Van Dyke Show,
right,
and to Bewitched as well. But seeing those kind of references to the rest of the MCU is super neat.
Mm-hmm. There's another callback from an earlier movie in the Stark Toasters commercial, which I thought was funny. There was a callback to if you listened to the sound the toaster made at first, it made a repulsor sound, kind of like Tony's repulsors, and then it kind of the way it counted down was like a bomb, which is a callback to how their parents died, if you remember. And they talked about the Stark bomb because she could see that and she didn't want to move and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with that was a reference to, because I knew it was a reference to something. I was like, is it more than just the fact that it's like Stark? Okay, that makes sense now. The only reference that I got in this little ad thing was like from the next ad for the watch,
the Strucker.
Because it was a Strucker, and I immediately recognized that as the name of the Hydra scientist who gave them their powers.
Right.
Essentially. So that was a cool nod. Seeing the little Hydra logo on the watch was like,
they called back the fact she was from Sokovia when she went up and did that thing, which I found that funny because, like, how do you not recognize that that's not Vision? Much shorter.
Just classic,
that's
classic,
true.
Dick Van Dyke sitcom stuff. It was all stuff that the characters themselves in the MCU would never have made, but this was just a pure homage to the Dick Van Dyke Show and other tropes of the genre at that time.
Deborah Jo Rupp, by the way, who was from that 70s show. Everyone knows her as Kitty. She was great in the couple scenes she was in. Mrs. Hart.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah, she was really good. So then you had all the sword logos everywhere.
Yes. I didn't notice any of them on my very first watch through, but then my second watch through, like, I'm gonna watch for Easter eggs and stuff. Mm-hmm. When I got to the end of the first episode with the monitor zooms out and there's someone watching it on a monitor, I was like, okay, let me look here, and I saw like a little logo thing. It was like the circle and the little stick, and I was like, that looks like what I would imagine a sword logo to be, because I had sword on my mind because of the whole Nick Fury Spider-Man post credit scene thing, and I saw it again on the helicopter in episode 2 when she picks that up, and then again
the red and yellow,
and I was like, it is sword. It has to be sword. I looked up what the sword logo was. I got a clickbait article that popped up. It was like, oh, sword in WandaVision. I was like, I guess I'm right.
So yeah, they're basically, I mean, if for anyone who doesn't know who Sword is, they're basically S.H.I.E.L.D. but in space. So it's interesting as to know, I mean, obviously S.H.I.E.L.D. in the MCU is no longer a thing. So that's why Sword is kind of watching her.
In the comic books, it was like S.H.I.E.L.D. was like the defense on Earth, and Sword was like the offense in space. So I'm not sure how it'll end up being portrayed in the MCU, but the fact that it is starting to become established in the MCU is huge, very major. Very excited to see what's going on with the actual Wanda, if this is the actual Wanda, if this is just like an astral plane, mental state, what's happening, what save the children means, or not save the children. That's like the actual for the children.
Yeah. There was something about that, but you said you said that relates more to the comics. So if you want me to read that, I will.
Yes.
But this is something I hadn't seen. It said at the end of the first one, the episode was directed by Abe Brown, Abe Brown is actually a character in the comics who is part of the trio martial art heroes Son of the Tiger, which made their first appearance in a Shang-Chi comic.
Ooh.
So connection to Shang-Chi. in the MCU. So I had not seen that till now. So that's interesting.
That's really cool.
They made their debut in the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, which they became a recurring character alongside Iron Fist, Misty Knight, Colin Wing, and Shang-Chi. So that could be something to look for.
Yeah.
Episode 2, which I enjoyed that intro a lot.
Oh yeah.
That was directly from Bewitched.
Yeah, I'm loving all of these homages. I'm really hoping that they keep them up. It'd be so easy to kind of keep them up as like a running gag almost for the first like 5 episodes and like stop it for the last ones.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping they just keep it up for the entire series. Maybe not the very last episode, depending on like if it's back in the real world or if it's still in there or whatever.
Right.
I'm hoping that they keep this up for most of the series.
So there's a lot hidden in that intro. One thing was the Bova milk, which is actually it's a reference to a comic character who is a bovine, like a walking, talking cow.
Interesting.
Named Bova. He's a sentient cow, and the midwife who helped deliver Wanda and her brother Pietro. In the comics. There's also, if you looked when Vision was phasing through the floors going upstairs, in the floorboards there's a helmet, which a lot of people thought was Galactus's helmet, but it's actually a helmet to who is a known Vision enemy or antagonist. What are they called? Bad guy.
Okay.
Named the Grim Reaper.
Interesting.
A bunch of people saw that, but it took me a couple of days for people to see it. And he is actually an antagonist in the 2015 Vision comics, which I just read. Were really, really good. So there's that. There's also. Oh no, she didn't want to get into who Agnes was, so I'm not going to do that either.
One thing that I will say is like from when they first announced WandaVision onward through all of the ads, like I knew that I would like Wanda Maximoff throughout the whole series. Like I knew her character would be good. I knew that like the role would be played well. And I knew that because of how much screen time Wanda has like had throughout the whole MCU, her role in the stories. But let me tell you, I absolutely love like Vision's character so much.
Yes.
Because I realized after watching it, like I mean, he's had a role in a lot of movies, but he's never been like the main focus past when he like was created. But like the actor who plays him is so good, so talented. Like I mean, he like embodied like Dick Van Dyke and Dick York. I want to say who was kind of like the thing. It was like the character he was homaging on episode 2, or like the actor. But he's done such a great job, and like I think he might be my favorite part of the series so far, just because of how well he's done like both his episodes. He's been like half of the focus, and he's excelled at it.
And something I think a lot of people, especially myself, have forgotten is that he was Jarvis. He's been in here since the beginning.
2008.
And he's done he was a fantastic as Jarvis, and then when he became the Vision, he was really good. And then now we're getting to really see his acting chops in WandaVision, and he's really, really good. Both actors have been spectacular so far through the series.
Superb.
Especially when they're doing, is there a word for it when you're acting, but like as a different era? Period acting. Yeah, they've done a really good job, especially since they've had to kind of act as if they were acting in the 50s, and then act as if they're in the 60s.
I'm really hoping that they kind of go up to the 70s and like they do like in homage to like the Bob Newhart show or like Newhart or something, because I love Bob Newhart so much. I adored those two shows.
So
I have a bad feeling that they won't, because there's no real easy way to tie it in.
Elizabeth Olsen came out and said they're going to said they're going to do the Brady Bunch for the 70s.
Yeah, that makes sense. That was a lot more mainstream and popular, and still relevant.
And that's how they can introduce their kids. or the kids, because at the end of this episode, she was pregnant.
Yeah. Which
that goes back to comics, but whatever. Well,
yeah.
You said you didn't want to know about that.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know the comments, but I don't know all about the comics or what kind of stories they're doing right now. But like, kind of like the subtle references to it and how they're building up to things, and like how it adds like the whole trippy aspect. And like the cool thing I like about it is they're not overdoing it yet. They're kind of building up to it slowly through homages, and I very much appreciate that kind of storytelling there, and I just truly hope they keep it up.
Yeah. So I agree. Another thing that was in there was the Mind Stone on the box that they used.
Yeah, on the Cabinet of Mystery.
The Cabinet of Mystery, yeah.
By the way, I love the magic act. Just as a
Oh yeah, that's yeah, of course.
As a magician, as soon as I saw like the thumbnail or whatever, I was like, yes. Thank you. And it was so cool. It was very neat to see Vision as like kind of a clumsy magician, and what at the end was perceived to be like a comedy magic act. It was because like I will go see shit like that. One of my favorite magicians of all time, Chad Long. I've gotten to see him like I've seen him like perform once live, and he's just so talented, so funny. He has this bit where like he comes on stage and he tries to like to like breathe fire by like doing this, by like trying to like light matches and breathe, and he has like lighter fluid and he does this stuff, and ends up with him like spilling everything all over the stage and like just drinking lighter fluid and all this stuff. And it's so funny, and I just really like comedic takes on magic, where it's not necessarily like magic is like the focus, but it's a comedic take on it. Like there are a lot of comedy magicians who will have their focus on comedy and have magic supplement that.
Right.
And that's kind of like a hit or a miss thing. But when you focus on the magic and just have the comedy elevate it to a whole new level. And even though this stuff wasn't actually magic, it was just, like comedy in like the genre of magic, it was still super cool to have the whole thing of like, there's real powers being demonstrated, but there's like a fake magic reason for everything happening that Wanda would create.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Apparently, also their names that they used was a callback to in the comics what that they had like friends with that name in the comics. So that was a cool little callback there. Vision drunk on bubblegum was absolutely hilarious.
Classic, just 60s, like everything from like the animation to whatever. Again, superb. I cannot speak highly of this enough. It was just so well done. It just fit the style so well. How they talk, how they act, how they looked, the animated visuals, everything. Only interrupted momentarily with bits like the plane and the radio, which the radio was a cool scene.
Yeah. Also, did you know the one woman who talked to Wanda during the meeting?
Yes.
That's Monica Rambeau. For those who are listening,
I knew she looked familiar.
Did you notice when she hesitated with the name though? That's how I figured out who that was. I was like, she's like, "Oh, what's your name?" And she's like, and then she named the name. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Monica Rambeau.
Interesting.
Because you can't, and I've seen this a couple times. So you kind of get a feel where like, people are trapped there with them.
Yeah, you do get that.
While at
feeling.
the same time, you're not sure if they're real people.
That was such a cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my. Okay, I'm gonna have to rewatch it a third time.
No. I'm probably gonna watch it again. Like I might just go 3 straight on Friday morning. Who knows? Probably not.
Yeah.
But, yeah. There's a bunch of those little subtle hints, and then there is some speculation about the glass shards. What happened there? With the bad guy. But if you don't want that kind of given to you yet, I'll hold back on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Not quite yet.
Okay, cool.
Now one question that I do have, that even if this is like a minor spoiler or whatever, because this is something that
minor spoiler for the entire way.
Whose voice was it on the radio? Because it sounded familiar. Is it like?
Yeah, it's the guy from Ant-Man. Remember the guy who kept checking up on Scott, making sure he was at his home?
Oh,
I think he's in Fresh Off the Boat. I don't remember his name.
Interesting. So, because it sounded like a voice that I should have known, but I couldn't place it.
So let's see.
Also, I love how the song was. It was like "Help Me, Rhonda," and then it faded into "Help Me, Wanda."
Yeah. It's Randall Park. That's the actor's name. Jimmy Woo was the character.
Yes. Okay. I remember him.
So he's a part of Shield. He's a part of Sword now, and so that's who you could hear in the.
He used to work for like the FBI or
something like that.
right? Yeah,
I think that makes sense. Yeah, he was Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay, I guess he's gotten enough promotion now.
Yeah. So, there's a bunch. You have to watch it through a couple times to really like get everything, because you know how Marvel's good at that anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just to throw things in there, and then just like little subtleties like the Monica Rambeau thing, like you have to really be thinking about this. Like, oh, that's Monica Rambeau. I didn't recognize her until the second round. So
yeah. I haven't recognized her until the third way through. Apparently, if I watch it next time.
I watched it twice back to back. Like I watched the first two, and I was like, wait, did I like that? And then I watched it again, like, yeah, well, I like that. And I saw these things. And then later on that day, I was like, I got to watch this again.
Nice.
Because I got to find more things in there. So yeah, it's gearing up to be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Mm-hmm. Well, they're in color now. At the very end of the episode, they became.
Yeah.
They moved into the 70s and are in color now. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we have like 70s, 80s, 90s, 0s, 10s, and then we're like all caught up. So
if they decide to go that route,
yeah. If they do,
I think they'll probably get through the 80s, and then I don't know after that.
Yeah, they might do the 90s, as 90s would catch them up to Captain Marvel. So
yeah,
maybe that'll be a little tie in there or something. I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. Once it gets past the 90s, I don't know what they would homage to, because everything's kind of recent. There's no real classics yet, because we just kind of lived through that era in time. But
right. So obviously, well, just from the commercials alone, we know that Vision escapes somehow, and Monica Rambeau also gets thrown out of the dimension. Just from the trailers, we know that.
Sure. Okay.
So obviously, at some point,
there's something that happens. There's something that takes place. Yeah.
I'm thinking that's coming in the next couple episodes or so. So
yeah.
I think we'll probably get thrown back into the real world in like the next 2 episodes, maybe.
Maybe.
Brian seems disappointed. He likes the homages too much.
Yeah, that's why I loved Community so much. All the homages were great. I wish that more shows would do homages like that. So when I found out that WandaVision, through watching it, was doing these homages, I was like, please keep this up. I need more content. I need more sweet content to watch, to feast my eyes upon.
So I guess we'll just have to see what comes of it. Very excited.
I guess we will.
For this next episode, see the 70s. I'm very good. When they get to the 80s, I think I saw somewhere that they might do Full House. That's what she teased. It wasn't the Brady Bunch. It was Full House. She teased that the 80s are gonna be a Full House kind of thing. Okay. That's where they'll get the kids, which makes more sense now. So
maybe we get the Bob Newhart show.
Maybe. I saw Brady Bunch, which wouldn't make much sense. There's not enough people.
Yeah.
So maybe we will get the Bob Newhart show. I don't know where I saw the Brady Bunch. That's weird.
Interesting.
But I think that's all I've got on that show.
Cool.
Obviously there are other things, but you said you don't want things spoiled like that, so I'm not going to go there.
Yes.
We'll find out
about in like 2 months from now, when it's all over, we can dive into
7 weeks.
Everything. Yeah.
And then hopefully we're getting geared up for Falcon the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
We still have no official release date on that, do we?
I mean, they've said March, but They haven't said when. Yeah. They've said March, but they haven't said when in March. So
I'm gonna assume they're gonna do like they did with this, where they had the Mandalorian and then like 3 weeks off or 2 weeks off. I think it was 2 weeks off because it was Christmas. Sure. It was 3 weeks off. Yeah.
Because I mean, they in theory could just go straight from WandaVision to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It'll be interesting to see what they ultimately choose to do. But
yeah, it's not like they have movie theaters like saying no. Like they can just put it out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then maybe by then we'll see if we can go see what's it called in the movie theater? Black Widow.
Black Widow, yes.
Because I forgot about that, but I'm very excited for that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like that should be coming out right around when Falcon and the Winter Soldier ends, or is either starting to get towards the end?
Something like that. And then maybe we'll have What If at that point to watch too. So.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot that's.
There's so much coming. Released. So much Marvel and DC content. Apparently, they moved up King Kong versus Godzilla to March on HBO Max. So
I'm excited for that Marvel film.
That's not Marvel, but you know what I meant. It was just we got tons of movies and TV shows coming.
Lots coming out now. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for everything that's coming out on HBO Max now that they decided to just release all of the movie things on HBO Max. I can watch them more now.
Mm-hmm. On your own account, right?
Yes.
Right, Brennan, right?
Yes.
All right. So I think that's a good place to stop, unless you got more to say.
No, I mean, because pretty much all I've watched for these past 2 weeks is because I watched WandaVision, I watched Suicide Squad. I actually watched this great video on YouTube as well. There was this dude who was like going through a bunch of shows he watched during quarantine.
Oh, that sounds like my video.
Yeah. I actually got a lot of great recommendations from there. So if you, the audience, has an interest, go over to Wolfgator Entertainment.
Yeah, do that. Go over to Wolfgator. You know what? Just when this ends, just click the little subscribe button.
Yep.
And then click on click on the channel page, and then just scroll down one or two.
This, of course, is if you were on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, then get on YouTube.
But hit the subscribe button first.
Oh, yes. On whatever, Spotify, Apple Music, those other ones I don't know about.
The others, I don't know. It's on a couple of different places now. So we're on Google Podcasts too. I don't know if you knew that.
Google Podcasts.
Apparently, if podcasts automatically go there. I didn't know that till the other day. I didn't even know Google Podcasts was a thing.
Interesting. I not heard of it until just now.
Yeah. So I think it's a good place to wrap up because I'm hungry. Because we're moving everything back to 6 now, maybe
because
depending on jobs and
hockey
such.
Ball,
and because of and we're still going to be doing things on Mondays. Though you guys aren't going to know that because I think it still might come out on Thursday, depending on how lazy I am. So if you guys have a great night, great day, great whatever. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this wherever you're on, to Wolfgate Entertainment on YouTube, as well as Not Brennan on YouTube.
Not Brennan.
Everything will be linked in not in the bio. You have no bio. Everything will be linked in the comments as usually is. And
the description.
The description.
I think yes.
Is that what I don't remember if I said that.
You said the comments.
The description then.
Yes.
It will be linked somewhere. You just scroll down.
Just look for a link. It'll be like a hide and seek games all across the little tab page.
Yep.
Check everywhere. Yep. You'll find it eventually.
And then when you do, click on it and click subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Whether there's content other than this there is yet to be determined. I know Brennan is supposedly on his break or right before his break.
Kind of, yeah. I am working on it. I am coming up with ideas, saying no, those ideas don't sound good, and then going back to the drawing board. So we'll see how that goes. I have concepts that I want to make at some point, but I don't know what to work on now versus what to save for a later project. So probably nothing will get made ever.
Except this podcast, because that at least you can hold on to for every other week.
Yep, I don't have to do any editing here, so it's great.
No.
It works.
And I don't either unless one of our computers shuts off. So
yes.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Yep. Take care. Have a great, and peace.
Peace.